Okay, so we'll start the execution process. Uh, so this is the files that I have shared, and then this is the part one, this is the part two, and then these are all the coding related changes. So which you will be dealing with this workbench, right? So whatever the code provided inside it, you will be running that directly inside this. Now the steps come that how you'll be able to run this MySQL workbench is that either you install it or if you already have it, you can create a new connections. I already have a connection, and then what you can do is you can click it here so that it will open on the root actually, right? But then before that, it will give an error because so this is an expected error because we know that this is just a client, right? So we need to enable a server for the same. So for enabling a server, I'm using XAMPP here. So I'll be executing it on this MySQL server. So I can start the server so that it will be listening at the backend. Okay. Sometime it might fail, but you have to restart it again. So once this is in green color, that means it is running at the backend. So if you do it again, like refresh it, so that now it says that the connection has been established. Right? So you can use a different combination with the Workbench. You can also use a different kind of server provider. Microsoft also provides one, and then SQL Server is also there. You can use any kind. I'm using XAMPP here, right? So these are the tables that are already created while working on the project. But once you are here, what you can do is you click on here. So this will create an empty SQL file, right? And then if you go into the project, so this is the part one for the report. Okay, so this is the ER diagram. So this is already been created from the doc that is provided, wherein there are employees, there are production company, shareholders, grants, films. So this is related to a production house. So these are all these, what you can say, entities that are available onto the production company, right? So if you scroll down, so these are all these SQL queries that you can run to have the table up and running, right? So whatever you are seeing here, like under the tables, these are all the tables that are created, right? But to create a table, you have to use a create schema. So how you can see that is, if you go here, like for example, production company, right? So if you go into the workbench, you will be able to see a table called production company, right? So if you want to create that, you just copy this, right, and then execute under here, right? So you created, it is already created. So if you do a run, it won't create because it will say that the production company already exists because there is already a production company available with us. If you do kind of a name change like S, and then you run from this flash icon. If you run it, it will give you a green sign stating that the production company as will be created. It won't show directly because it doesn't have any hooks here. So if you do a schema reload, so there will be a table called this one, and then if you want to see what are the records available in it, you can click on this, so that it will show you all the records. Okay, if you click this, right, and then if you do this table flash icon, so you'll be able to see all those records available in that. Okay, and then there are some CRUD operations. That means CRUD operation means, so you can create a record, you can read a record, you can update, and then you can delete a record, right? So this GUI that you have, Workbench GUI, you can directly edit the record from here. So suppose say you want to edit this Access Studio's name, right? So just, right, and then you click on enter, and then you'll be seeing here this apply button, right? So you click on here, and then it will directly give you this update query for this particular record that you have changed, right? So earlier it was XYZ Studios, and then now it's XYZ test, right? So you do an apply. So the application has been done. So if you switch this table and then again you switch this table, you will see this updated one, right? Either you can do it from here, but if updating requires some data, right? Otherwise, what you can do is insert the data into this. So you might have heard about the insert query. So how we can do an insert onto the same is like, so this all, wherever you are seeing this create table, so with the help of this create table, we'll be able to create all these tables, right? So this is just like copying this part and then applying directly into this query editor. This is called query editor, right? So you can do all this. You can copy paste everything inside here, and then the table will be created. If you want to drop a particular table, you do just a drop table. But remember that this won't be a kind of undo process. So once you drop it, it will be dropped. Right? So you drop now, it won't be coming there until unless you again create a create table, again run a create table command. Right? Okay, so these are all these tables that are associated with this production house company. Right? Wherever you are seeing create. Now, these are the tables, or you can say SQL query to insert some kind of data into our database, right? So this is like we are creating 4 records, right? So we are creating 4 records into the production company. Similarly, we are creating some records into shareholder. Likewise, wherever you are seeing insert into, you will be able to insert into this particular database. These are just a sample data because there are some questions related to the queries, right? So to run those successfully, we need some kind of data into the database. Now coming on to the queries part, we have that in part 2, right? So we will open part 2 here. Okay, so this is all question related to data retrieval and function requirements. If I go into this the requirements provided by the professor, you will get this question: get a list of production companies in European region, right? So to run this successfully, you might need a sample data that will have this European region kind of, right? So what you do is this is the solution for this query, right? So you just copy it, and then what you do is you go here and you paste it here. So we have a production company. So these are all case insensitive. The table names in SQL are case insensitive. That means that capital P and capital C won't, this will be ignored and this will directly be converted into a small letter, right? So if I try to create a table saying that production company is a capital letter, the whole production company name is a capital letter, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the DB will create a table in small letters only, right? So this is a query solution for the part 1. Get a list of all the production companies in European region. So what I pasted it here, and then I'll run it. I'll get all these company listed. So there are 4 records in production company, and then when I run this, so wherever the nation is having either Germany, France, Spain, or United Kingdom, right? So wherever the question is that in the European region, right? So whatever the European region is that, like Spain and UK, so those will be shown showing up here, right? Because we are mentioning that this particular set of nations are European countries, right? So we are mentioning that if you want to select some Asian companies, suppose say the question was like select get a list of production companies in Asian region, right? So we will be specifying that wherever for any record, if the nation is having, suppose say India or China something, right? So we will be specifying here. So if this Spain matches this list, then it will be outputted, right? So if this United Kingdom matches one of this record, this is kind of a list, right? So we are specifying where nation should be in this. So this Spain is in this, that's why this record is coming up. Likewise, moving on to the second query, retrieve specific tables given for production includes, and then so where the number and the net value, right? So this is a code for the same, how you can run it in a similar way. So we are just having a company with ID 1, because if you do this, then it will list all this, all the records that are there in this production company table, right? So select, okay. So we are just testing out the first one. So we want a specific output to be provided to the user, right? So we are just specifying what are the fields that are mentioned in the question, right? That we want to output. So we are just taking one for the sample here. Yeah. So this is outputted, right, in a specific order that was asked in the question. Similarly, these are the second set of questions that are provided in the requirements. Similarly, you get whatever the query that you have. This is a question asked, and this is the sample query the solution query that you have. You just have to run to produce this kind of output. So for 2 queries, you have these 2 outputs. Right? This is how you run it. The prerequisites for the same is having a MySQL Workbench and XAMPP. That's it.